Hello again. This video is not exactly a continuation of this layout, even though it kind of looks like it. What I wanted to do was continue the theme across the pages. So what I'm beginning with here is another wide washi tape that I received. But before I put that down, I am going to use some of this paper from old books. I've got these old books and they have such beautiful paper. So I thought I would use some of this just to pull the whole layout together. Because I've got it on the left-hand page, I would just put it on the right-hand page as well, once I get my glue going in the right direction. Now, just a word about the glue. If you followed me for any length of time, you know that I use this glue stick called Glue, Gloo, and there's a link below where you can purchase it. I highly recommend it. It's so nice and smooth, and it sticks better than any of the other glue sticks that I've tried. So I'm going to just place this in the corner and press it down really well. And always put the lid back on the glue, because I had one before that I forgot to at one point, and that was the end of that, unfortunately, because they do dry out. All glues that I've found anyway, I'm not sure if there's any that exist besides adhesives of some kinds that they all have moisture in them. So you have to be careful not to let them dry. And I'm using this wide washi tape, which is so pretty, and just cutting it to size. Of course, it wants to curl up, but that's okay. You can just press it down carefully and make sure that it is, especially down on the edges. I find washi tape is kind of hit and miss how sticky it is. This new stuff is quite good, but I've got some washi tape that I've had around for a while, and it's not all that sticky sometimes. So occasionally I have to go back in with glue stick and stick the ends down. And you might find that as well. Now, before I add anything else, I thought I would use this pan pastels. And pan pastels they're kind of like face powder, only they're pastel, like chalk pastels in a paint form. And this one is actually yellow-green, but it's so bright it almost looks like just bright yellow. And I may end up changing it, because sometimes you try things and it's just like, I'm not sure that's going to work, but we'll see. And that's the fun about doing these kind of projects. It's like, if it doesn't work out, you just cover it up, just move on, do something different. So I want to put on some little images with stickers, and I've got all of these ones that are kind of travel related, but I don't think they're a fit. That's really pretty. And it looks like it will really work with the color and the theme. And I'm putting it right here. So today it's rainy. We had a really hot summer, and then like a dry September, and then suddenly it decided to rain. I thought I would just try some of these filigree pieces, which I'm still a little puzzled about and not sure how to use. They're so fragile. Yeah, that's a little bit too repetitious, so I'm not going to use that one. However, I've got these as well, and you know, I love florals and I love using them, but you can kind of go overboard on them. The images on the left-hand side are a little bit more botanical nature kind of theme. So one of these little papers might really work, just because of the colors. Anyway, it rained, I think, almost an inch a couple of nights ago. My husband is a little kind of a weather watcher, and he's got a rain gauge on the lawn, and so every evening, if it's rained at all, he goes out and checks his rain gauge, and then keeps track of them all, so he can look back years. I like that one, and I like the berries, and that one kind of works. It's a little bit more sort of weedy looking. So let's see which one is a good fit here. That pulls in the reds. This one, oh, I love that. Yeah, let's use this one. I think it's perfect. And of course, remember, you have to remove these, especially from the clear backgrounds, clear stamps from the clear backgrounds. You have to find an edge and just run your thumb over it towards the front. So that's towards where the image is, not the back. Because if you try and like put a thumbnail between it, it just never happens. It doesn't work. I really like the look of that. I love the dark green, which is reflected in the feather on the far side, and one of those little fronds on that piece of wide washi tape that goes across the middle. And then I have these girls from the early 70s. Were you around when we got to wear those granny dresses? Love those. And some of these, I think these come from sewing patterns by the look of them. And it's interesting because my mom taught me to sew when I was like, by the time I was 10 years old, I could make my own clothes, which has been a wonderful skill to have. And she was an excellent seamstress and very particular. So if something wasn't done perfectly, you had to tear it out and do it again, which was, pretty good education. So I have patterns that I've kept since the early 70s. Now they don't fit me quite like they used to because I'm not quite like I used to be, but it's kind of fun having them. And I also know how to adjust patterns. So occasionally I've pulled one out and gone, okay, I'll just do all the measurements and make the adjustments and I can still wear this. So I love these colors because the pink goes well with the pink rose. And then the long dress just pulls together with the colors in that sprig with the dark green leaves. I have a little space here. And if you've watched me for any length of time, I really like to just fill it up. So I'm going to just put this little stamp up here. It's amazing how quickly you can put together a page, especially with things that you don't have to cut out, which is a good reason to have them cut out ahead of time. So that's it for this section. Stay tuned, and I've got something else to show you. This is a little addendum to the project that I was just working on that I've added. People have asked me about how I store my little pieces and ephemera and whatnot, and this is one of the ways that I do it. What I did to create this, obviously it came with the pockets in the front, which is nice. But to create this, it's so easy. If you have a sewing machine, you do need that. So I use these page protectors. That's all it is. And then I just took a piece of cardstock like that, inserted it, and then I sewed across here, and down to here to make the small pockets. So it works on both sides. And then what I did was just cut along the top edge here to make pockets. This obviously was already open, so I didn't need to cut there, but here and here, and then on the other side too. So that's all there is to that. Now, having said that, this does work great, and I like it, but I've come up with something else that I think I'm going to like even more as I get more little bits and pieces. And this just came in the mail today. It is an earring hanging case. So for small things, like little pieces of ephemera, like that, or stickers, like that. I think it's perfect. I can't show it all on the camera just because of the camera angle, but it's huge and it's both sides. Not only that, but I can roll it up when I'm not using it and put it on a shelf. So I'm pretty excited about this because what it means is all I have to do is look at it and I can see what kind of things I'm looking for. Now, the only odd drawback that I can see is these pockets at the bottom are a little bit bigger. It would be nice to have pockets that were this whole size. However, I might just take the stitching out of here, from here down, so that it opens up this part here. I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to fill it up and see what happens and then decide. But I think this is a really, really good way to store all the little tiny bits. And as I get more into art journaling with more paints and little scraps and things, you know, you get little papers, and the more little scraps you use, the more little scraps you get. So just little things like this can be arranged by color. They can be torn apart. See, this is a little piece I have. So what I can do is just put it in here and go, okay, well, this is the black and white pocket for all these little odds and ends, and then they'll be easy to find. So if I'm looking for a certain color family, I can go, okay, well, here's the neutrals. And that's all there is to it. I have put a link below where you can find these on Amazon, and it's just a suggestion, but you might like to try it. So the next thing to do is choose one of these videos that I'm showing here, and I'll see you next time.